I'm Dr. Meredith Hancock, the president of Thomas Edison State University. We're the university that respects your learning wherever it occurs. This is Edison Sound Stage, a podcast where we discuss the dynamic role of education in today's world. We have meaningful conversations with business and community leaders and with our students who are actively engaged in their professions and communities, all while earning a degree that builds their careers, advances their professions, and empowers their lives. Recorded and produced on our campus in Trenton, New Jersey, this is Edison Sound Stage.
Welcome back to the Thomas Edison State University podcast. I'm Katie Brummer, Assistant Director of Communications here at Thomas Edison State University. And today I have the absolute pleasure of sitting down with someone whose energy and dedication perfectly embodies the spirit of our university community. Pamela Tucker is many things. A seasoned administrative professional with over 20 years of experience, a certified billing and coding specialist, a notary public, and currently a facilities and operations support specialist at Princeton Plasma Physics Laboratory. But she's also made history at Thomas Edison in a remarkable way. In September, Pamela took the oath as the newest student trustee on the Thomas Edison State University Board of Trustees. And then just 2 weeks later, she walked across the stage at commencement to celebrate earning her Associate of Arts degree. Now she's continuing her journey, actively working toward her Bachelor of Arts in Communications here at TESU. Pamela, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Nice to finally see you again in person. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming. I'm really excited to do this because this is our very first time we've ever done a video version of our podcast. So I'm really excited that it will be with you because your energy and your enthusiasm, and it's really easy to talk with you too. I mean, we've met a few times and the conversation is really easy. So I'm really excited to do this today. Thank you so much for coming on a Friday after you finished your midterm.
Yes.
Did that go well?
I hope so.
Okay, good. Okay, awesome. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
And I hope it all went really well, but I'm sure
Yes.
you study hard and I know that you would get there.
Yes.
So let's start a little bit with your journey. Let's start at the beginning of your journey. You told me a little bit, but I kind of want you to start from square one for our listeners.
Okay.
So what drew you to Thomas Edison in the first place? How did you even hear about us?
Well, I live locally, and when I heard about Thomas Edison being more prone towards adult learners, that was exciting to me because I'm a full-time, person working all day, 8 hours a day. I'm married, who I have a wonderful husband named Terrence, give him a shout out.
Sure.
And also just day-to-day life, between working and just exercising, just cooking, just being a wife, and just doing all those day-to-day things. I said, Thomas Edison seems like it's geared for adult learners. I looked on the website, I saw they had certain type of learning you could do, which would be like in person, where you can do like the training, that you can do TESU programs, you could actually do courses outside of Thomas Edison that will be transferable, and then you also have mentors, so that really was drawing to me, and you could do it on your own time. That was the beginning, but I've always wanted to receive a degree, and that was really my inspiration. You're never too old, so I wanted to come back to school, and Thomas Edison was the right fit.
Awesome. That's a wonderful message and something that we truly believe. No education is ever wasted, and it is never too late to get that education and reach your goals.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. So that, like I said, that's an extremely powerful reason and everything. So we had talked about earlier your career. You have done a myriad of things, and what made you decide that you wanted to go back to school after you've done all of this professionally? I mean, you've had a great career. You have a great career. Let me say that better. That sounds a little weird. That's something that's powerful for our students, because a lot of our students do have a career. They are in their careers. They are doing awesome in their careers.
Right.
But something does make them want to come back. And so what was that pull that made you want to go back?
Well, as you see in my career, I've had over 20 years of administrative experiences. I mean, from the beginning, I started as a receptionist and working my way up to working for the CEO of a company. And, that was great, and that was a big accomplishment, but I always had something in me that wanted to go back to school. And, it was something my parents were not college graduates. They were both blue-collar workers, and I was excited to come back to school because I thought of them. My mom was a housekeeper and my dad was an inspector. And, they had aspirations and dreams for me to always go back to school. I was the baby. And, the baby gets all the attention.
Yep.
I'm sorry to my older sisters.
It's okay, I'm the oldest, but I have a baby sister, so I know.
Yeah, so I had always wanted to, get promoted in different roles. And a lot of them did say a degree was needed, associates or bachelors. And, education really pushed me to strive for perfection. And Thomas Edison really fit the need that I wanted because I felt like they were very patient. That was one of the reasons why I was able to come back to Thomas Edison, because your mentors and your also student advisors, they felt very welcoming. It was almost like, it wasn't like they were telling you what to do. It was like they were sharing what you needed to do. There's a difference, right?
Sure, absolutely.
And so I always wanted to get promoted on jobs, and I always saw jobs that I wanted, but I knew that I didn't have the educational requirements, but I knew I could do the job. But in the job market, education is very important because it does help you become a critical thinker, and those are the things that people are looking for.
Absolutely.
So
soft skills.
Yep, so that's one of the things that I said too. You definitely have to have soft skills, and also a lot of reading and learning that I did with this courses here, it helps you do more research. And that's going to definitely help people when they want to come back to school. Education is going to help you be more of a researcher, and on your job, that's very important. The mentor that I have here, Amy Mardano, I hope I'm saying her name properly, but she was very just helpful. Like when she contacted me, she made me feel at ease. And that was one of the reasons why I was able to come back to Thomas Edison, because your mentors and your also student advisors, they felt very welcoming. It was almost like, it wasn't like they were telling you what to do. It was like they were sharing what you needed to do. There's a difference, right?
Sure, absolutely.
And so I always wanted to get promoted on jobs, and I always saw jobs that I wanted, but I knew that I didn't have the educational requirements, but I knew I could do the job. But in the job market, education is very important because it does help you become a critical thinker, and those are the things that people are looking for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amy Mardano gets a lot of shout outs. She's really good. She really does. No, she's a really good advisor. I mean, I hear every time I speak to students, people are always calling her out. So, I mean, this is probably just another thing where another feather in her cap. Yeah. And she's a really sweet person too.
Really
yeah, absolutely. She's really looking out for students, and just because that's just kind of who she is as a person too.
Yes.
So let's get back to your role as a student trustee, to have that student perspective, to have that student voice. So that is really powerful and important for the board to hear that voice consistently as a representative of students. So you were selected and you took your oath in September at the board meeting. I was behind the camera in the background because it's a Zoom. So I got to see that. I got to see you take the oath and everything. After earning your associate degree in March, and then you decided to move on to keep going for your bachelor's degree. How did this opportunity come about as the student trustee? How did you come into this role? And what has it been like being in a leadership role? I mean, is this something you tout in your classes? I don't know if you can. I'm just asking because, do you preface that every discussion board post?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
It's so interesting because I was first of all, I was honored, shocked and honored, because Amy, when she shared with me, once I was done with my associate's degree, she said, you actually have 12 more classes till you get your bachelor's. And I was like, wait, what? There's an emoji out there where a woman's like, wait, what? And that was me.
That's
and
awesome.
She said, because you just kept going. And I just kept, once I received my associate's degree, I just kept taking classes. And she said to me, listen, if I were you, I would consider it. And I said, okay. And then once she came down to it, I did the other courses, and then it was 7 more courses to take for my core classes for communications. And then I received an email from her, and she said, I'm nominating you for the student trustee. And that was another wait, what moment. And she was like, your dedication, your GPA, everything that you have done to come to this point, I felt that you were one of the people that could represent the students, because not only are you a full-time working person, but you're a first-time graduate, in your family with my mom and dad. And she was like, that speaks volumes to people, and people need to hear that, because I'm over 50. I'm not ashamed of saying my age. And she said, a lot of people always think it's too late. And so she said, I want to nominate you. And I said, sure. I said, I'm actually honored. And then when I went out to breakfast with President Hancock and Michael, they were just so pleasant, and they just were so kind to me, and I just shared with them the things that I would love to see Thomas Edison do for the students, and not only just them doing what they're doing, a wonderful job, but I would just like to meet some of these wonderful people, because when you do classes online, you don't get to interact with them as much as you like. And so for me, I would love to say, let's have more camaraderie together. Let's get together. If it's for coffee, I know everybody's busy in their life, but 15 minutes, let's meet at Starbucks, just to meet and hear their incredible stories. And then once I got nominated and I went to the board retreat, I was like, wow, this is amazing hearing all the different aspects of what the board represents. They really care about the students. It's not just a bunch of people who just sit and just have conversation. No, they really dig in and really care about what the student, actions are, what we're doing on a day-to-day basis, how we feel about the university, and what would inspire us to keep coming here.
Absolutely. I've seen the Board of Trustees meetings, and they really are.
Yeah.
And so to have your voice on there and to connect. Have you ever connected with any students in your courses? I mean, a lot of that tends to happen at commencement.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit of an edge going for your associates.
Yeah.
And meeting some of your classmates.
Yeah, it was nice because on when we have some of the class forums, and a lot of the classes we have discussion forums, you kind of get to know a background of different people. And yes, there are times where I was able to talk to some of the students and just hear their stories, like a lot of veterans, which I'm very impressed with. For them, like a lot of moms, like I've heard full-time moms, like coming back to school too.
Absolutely.
And just hearing their stories. And even at commencement, when I saw the people, like I've seen people, and just not even me being emotional, but seeing the tears, seeing the people in the audience of what they went through, like you don't know their story or what they did to come to this point.
Absolutely.
So for me, when I saw those students, like even people I didn't know, I was just like, congratulations, I'm very proud of you. And that's the connection that I think Thomas Edison has, with other students. We just know that everybody's journey is different, but we know what it took for us to get here.
Oh, absolutely. That's powerful. I mean, I work at, well, I'm going to say I work volunteer. I don't know exactly what the right term there is. But we're there. That's the time that we are meeting all of our students, sometimes for the first time, our graduates. And I mean, this is a room of people that never thought that they would be in those seats, that never thought that this day would come. And here it is. So it's extremely emotional. It's exciting for us because it's just, there's so much energy. I mean, you saw us bopping all over the place. I'm scrolling outside saying, wave aggressively, which you did, which was great. So, which is exactly what I needed. Exactly. So it's a fun day. And that's one thing, well, that's what we always want to plug, is we want graduates to come. I mean, it's your achievement. We want to celebrate you. This is your time. This is your day. And this is, absolutely. So I'm so glad that you were able to go, because now you know what to experience. And we'll get into that too, because I want to know like what your feeling was, like just from soup to nuts, like what it was like getting dressed that day, getting your gown together, your family there, saying your name. I've never said my name into the microphone because that's a powerful thing that we do, is that we have our students say their names, because you've heard so many of them have another message. This past year we had someone say, I did this for me. Somebody who says, I did this for my mom. Someone who said for my children.
Somebody
who
was 70.
In the military.
They did it. 70.
Someone who was 70.
I love it.
Absolutely. So there's always another message when they announce it into the microphone, and then the whole arena erupts, and we always really enjoy hearing that. But so you attended your first Board of Trustees retreat. You brought that up earlier. After being sworn in. That was only a couple weeks where we had met. And tell us about that retreat experience. Like, what was it like? You were saying that you heard from a lot of members of the board and how much they are really fighting for students every day. But what surprised you most about the work that the board does?
Well, what surprised me the most was the different people from all walks of life. Like, I've never been a part of a board, so this is a first for me, and of course it's an honor, but to see the different areas and backgrounds that people had on the board, I love that Thomas Edison State University does that, because there's different people in different avenues of their careers. Some are retired, some have their doctorates, some are, just salespeople. Like, I just like that it has different avenues and areas of what people work in, because, like, say, for instance, I work in an organization that's in fusion, but somebody else may work at a dealership, but it's still, the difference is you can come together and, it's like thinking cohesively, but, you can think independently but act cohesively. And that's what one of the things they said, and I'll never forget that from the board meeting. It was thinking independently but acting cohesively. And that is the way we're supposed to be, because everybody's not going to have the same thought and idea, but you can bring those all together as an idea and as a thought, and it could be one. It could be meshed into one.
Sure.
And I love that I saw how Dr. Hancock was encouraging people to talk, to, share their, opinion, and the rest of the board. And it made me feel very welcoming, just me sitting back. And there's a teacher actually on the board as well, and she was really kind. And she was sitting next to me, and when she had a question, she raised her hand, and I said, I know she's a teacher. Yeah. Yeah. But it was just, sure. I liked that because it just showed everybody's personality, everybody what they had to offer.
Absolutely, different perspectives.
Yes.
Let's go back to commencement. So in the middle of your appointment, so again, you went from your appointment to the role, your oath and swearing in, and then commencement, and then the board retreat. And like we had said earlier, your enthusiasm, because one of the things at commencement is we are filming students, grabbing content to share the experience, any way that we can really translate that experience on social media especially. And I hold up a sign that says like wave aggressively or point and say, hi mom or something. And I didn't realize that was you because you had run up and you basically you were smiling and you had energy and enthusiasm, and it's exactly the kind of thing I want to see because this is a celebration. I want to see people go like out of their minds, like that they're having a great time because this is a culmination of so much achievement, a relief that you're done, a myriad of things. And I didn't realize it was you, and when you reached out to me and said that was you, I was really stoked. I also went back to the commencement video. I was like, how did I miss this? So I went back to and I saw that you were on the dais. So I was like, oh, okay. I was like, because I always feel bad when when I miss these things. I'm like, oh, jeez. And I want to talk about that experience because I mean that was kind of like an unusual experience. You weren't in the chairs. You were on the dais. And so that's kind of something completely different too. And so that must have been exciting to see everybody come and through. And how was it?
Well, it was
how
interesting.
Did it feel?
I couldn't believe it because the day before, like they were like, "Yeah, you're going to be up here with us." I'm like, "What?"
Oh, last minute? Yeah, very last minute.
And I was,
okay.
They told me, and I was like kind of surprised, but I was just like, "Wow!" Like I'm just new to the board, but I was like so honored. And then during the commencement, like when I'm coming down and like being excited. I just had so many thoughts. Like, I was like, wow, like, Pam, you did it. Like, that's was my main thing. It's like, if you took the time, and like I said, shout out to my husband who had a lot of leftovers while I was earning my associate degree.
Okay.
But I just was so thankful that, just to that experience, I thought about my mom, who's no longer here, my dad. Like, my mom would have said, oh, my baby, I'm so proud of her. And my dad would have said, about time. Like, that would have, that. Because
kind of like they did. Yeah, absolutely. The dynamic between the two.
The dynamic, they were just two different people. And it was just the dynamics. I think about how they were. But my parents were such a force to be reckoned with. And I'm saying, like, they cared. And they always wanted the best for me. And they saw my career flourish. And they were just happy for me. But I think in that moment, you just say, wow, like my husband was like standing up. Like Dr. Hancock said, for all the husbands, the wives, when she said that. Part. And I saw my husband, he was like, yes.
I've never been able to translate that into video because, because she starts to, she gets into it, obviously. And her voice increases in the volume and everyone just starts, the whole stadium or arena, I don't know. It's thunderous. And
it was great.
It gives you chills at
that
part.
It was great. Really it was great when she said that. Like, and I saw my husband because I knew what he had on that morning. And I saw the shirt in the audience. They all the husbands there. I saw him get up there, and it was just like I thought about like my sister-in-law was there. One of my close friends was there, and I was just so honored that they came. But they said like even they got teary. Like they were just like it was just. They said they've been to commencements before, but they said this one was different.
It is different.
And just saying your name in the mic, it just speaks volumes. It makes you feel like, I'm important for today. You know what I'm saying? Like
always important.
Everybody,
you're
always. But that day, you even
that's
feel
your celebration.
That's your celebration.
That's your achievement.
Absolutely,
it is. There's a different dynamic. I mean, that's something that we talk about a lot here because we have a decent sized staff. Here, we're about 350 staff members who've gone to a myriad of different schools.
Right.
And it's a different feeling.
Yeah.
I've had two commencements myself, my undergraduate, my graduate, and it's different.
Okay.
There's way more excitement in the commencements here because it is like that culmination.
Right.
Again, it goes with the people that never thought they would be here, and then that moment came.
Yeah.
And that's really what makes it so incredibly powerful. And And now you're going on towards your earning your bachelor's degree, so you'll come back for part 2.
Yeah.
Pamela, part 2. And how are you starting to see those skills play out? You told us how you were drawn to the field.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe start again.
Okay.
Maybe we didn't say. I mean, maybe this might have been before we even recorded it.
Yeah.
What drew you really to the field of communications, and what is it that you're learning now that's applying to what you do every day?
Yeah, so back in the 90s, I'm dating myself, but I
referenced Pizza Hut visit today at my daughter's school. And I had a bunch of blank stares. Yeah, I was like, wow, okay.
It's like the rotary
Whatever.
telephone. So I was like, this journey started, decades ago. When you really think about it, I was, enrolled at another college for television and radio broadcasting. And I went for 2 years. And then financially, I couldn't afford to go back. And at that point, I said, well, let me just start working. And just life passes you by, you start doing work and getting involved in other things. And then, all of a sudden, like 20, 30 years later, like, oh, wow. So what drew me back was saying, I was just saying, I want to do this. Like, this is my time. Like, I really want to. And Thomas Edison gave me that door. And communications, that's just something like when I tell people I'm going to school for communications, there's like, what else would it be, Pamela? There's that's just who I am. Sure. I remember as a child, I always told my mom, I love people. I love books. I love reading. I love interacting with people. I've gone in stores and I've been online talking to somebody, and my husband's like, I'll meet you in the car. I'm still online talking to somebody.
You're making friends everywhere
I go.
That's what I feel like communications is. Yeah, you always make friends.
And he's like I said, he's my biggest support system. But he's totally opposite of me. But he's so genuine, and he loves me for who I am, and that's what really matters. Like when somebody cares about you and loves you for who you are, you feel like you can accomplish anything.
Absolutely.
And for me, with communications, I said, this is something I want to do. Back in the days when I would look at TV and say, this is Channel 7 Eyewitness News, or, something to that effect. Sure. You just say, I want to do that with the hairbrush in front.
Oh, absolutely.
The reporter running up the
stairs.
Things
in the karaoke
Absolutely. Running up the stairs like
definitely.
You're the reporter. Hi, can I have
Absolutely.
your question?
Sure.
And those are the things that I thought about. And I said, it's changed a little bit. Some of the media has changed a little bit. What's more digital, but it's still the same avenue. It's communicating, it's talking to people, it's getting to know people, it's getting to hear their stories. And that's what drives me in this field. It's just to want to encourage people. When you talk to somebody and you're in communications, you want to make them feel like, I'm a better person, or I'm doing this because I care. And I think that any job that you take on in any field that you do, you have to love it. You can't just do it just to do it. Because you hear a lot of people say, I've worked at a job for 20, 30 years and I didn't like my job and I just did it because I had to. But I said, then you know what, this is your time. You need to do something that's going to make you happy. And communication has always been that avenue for me. I've always loved communications. But it's so broad.
It is.
You can be in PR, you can be in media, you can be publisher. It's so many avenues.
Absolutely.
But I think you have to find your niche of what you love and what you're good at. Because sometimes you could be good at something, but it's not something that you love, but you got to make it work.
That's very true. That's 100% true. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, there's so many different things that you could do in communication. It's very, very broad. And so in your program, are you looking at all of those different areas? Like you said, there's PR, there's social media. They're very closely aligned. There's broadcast, there's the written word. I sound as if I'm somebody who hasn't been working in communications for like 18 plus years. I'm trying to think of what my workload is or whatever.
There's
but
marketing. There's marketing. There's so
absolutely,
many. Right.
Absolutely. I think about that a lot too. And is there anything that you're doing in your courses or learning in your courses that you're discovering, I really like that, or maybe this is applying to my day job?
Right. Well, some of the things I'm learning now, especially with intercultural communications and dealing with different people and dealing with different areas of what people, are comfortable with. Like everyone is not you. So even when you learn with intercultural communications, you have to understand, some cultures being early, 5 minutes early, you're late. I mean, so that's the broadness of how you learn different avenues and different people and how they interpret communications. And that's something I learned when I took the course for intercultural communications here at Thomas Edison. I was like, okay, like somebody said to me on a Zoom, we had an 11 o'clock meeting, like it's 10:55, Pam, where are you? And I'm like, oh, okay, but I didn't realize that their culture is you're late.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, my apologies. But again, you didn't know that until you read up on that course and what that culture expectation is.
Oh, I would be so rude.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
So,
sorry.
And I'm a person who's early and, like even when we were meeting today, I'm early. But again, you kind of don't, it makes you understand culture different. Like everybody's culture has a different walk of life and everybody's is not the same thought process as you. Sure. And that's what I'm learning in college here at Thomas Edison State University, even with Introduction to Mass Communications, like, wow, the telegraph, like that's almost like texting. Like, I mean, like when you look back on all those things of how we've come to today, it's like, so when it comes to what avenue I want to work in, I just almost feel like some of the job that I have now where I'm working, I do interact with communications right now, that department, and helping them with certain events and things like that, and which my communications team is great. Shout out to them. But the department I'm in, facilities and site services as well, we work together as one unit. And for me, I'm always looking to what can I do to better not only my department but my organization as a whole. And that's what I think any person should do when they're looking into a field. It's like, are you going to do something that is going to make your change better for where you are? That's always my avenue, is that you can't, if you see something in a job and it's better, something that can be done better, and you just say, oh, well, let's leave that up to somebody else. No, let's leave that up to you. Right? You are the one who has the idea. Let's go forth with it. And let's, take it to the next level. I mean, we're all learning, right? Nobody knows everything.
Absolutely. Yes, sure.
So communication, I think, is a great field. I feel like everybody in the world can't be engineers. Shout out to the engineers, though, right?
I know, my sister's a nurse.
Right, nurses, all of those people. But, but I just think everybody has their niche of what they're created to do.
Absolutely. No, that's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love the tenet, and I've used this quote a lot, especially in my family, from Albert Einstein, who said, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, then it will always think it's stupid. Right. So you got to find your thing. You got to find your thing, and you will excel at that thing when you find that thing. Yep. And then to learn more and do more. So obviously you found your thing in communications. Clear and concise communications is actually a very difficult thing to pick up and do. And being in your role in event and facilities, you have to be very clear. Yes. And very concise in what you do in order to plan and organize all of that. So to go back into how you're managing and balancing everything, because it is a lot. It's an absolute. It's a lot. You say your husband has a lot of leftovers. I think that's great. That means you still made the food. Like I have a very active DoorDash, so I props to DoorDash if they want to sponsor us. We'll probably have to cut that out. But yes, absolutely, about communication skills being in everything that we had talked about before. And so balancing your career and the demanding career that you have at the Princeton Plasma Physics Laboratory. I just wanted to say it clearly and out because it is important work, and I wanted to make sure I said that clearly. And so your duties as a student trustee and your duties in your job, how are you managing it all? What is some advice that you would give to other students?
Well, Katie, I'm gonna be honest with you. What I would say to people is, if you have a group of people that can support you, that's really your first line of defense. Like if you have somebody, a partner, a spouse, or someone that you can say to them, I'm thinking about going back to school, and if they say, I support you, that's already step one. Yeah, it is. Even if it's a friend, that's step one to say, I can do this, because it gets in your mindset of, wait, somebody believes in me. Absolutely. And that's the first step. So yes, you're going to have challenges in life. Yes, I'm busy, I'm working, I go into the office at 6:30 in the morning, and once I get off work, that's not the end of your day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Then it's like, okay, I'll try to go to the gym, do an hour. Then I'll try, I'll put food on the stove or a crock pot or whatever I do, or heat up the leftovers or what I have to do. Yeah. And then by the time it's for me to wind down and start doing papers or studying, it's now 5, 6 o'clock. So that's the time where you have to say, okay, you have to shut like things off, meaning phones off, and I know it's challenging. You have kids running around and mommy, daddy, I need this, but it's like, you have to dedicate some time. And like I said from the beginning, if you have a support system, even if you have grandma or aunt or uncle who says, can you watch, our son or daughter for an hour, or, that's just a time you can do. And even on the weekends, you can spread it out where you can say, okay, this person give me some time to do some studying, and then you go out and take the kids out. Yeah. I mean, so that's how you balance it. But everybody's challenge is different.
Absolutely.
Right? So mine may be, work and school and trying to write papers. And then somebody else may be kids. Somebody else may be family, So to me, how do I do it all? I just, I have my faith, of course, that helps.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then I have a great support system. So that's going to really help you to dedicate the time. And I know some people say, well, I might not have nobody in my corner. Because you got to think about those people,
there
too.
are some, yeah, absolutely.
And you know what you have to say? You say, well, you have to believe in yourself. And say, I can do it.
Yes.
And then I just believe that once you start getting to know people, and that's why I would like people to get together to Thomas Edison, because once you start getting around people, those are going to be a support system.
Yeah, that have a similar mindset, that have the same goals, that absolutely, the understanding of what you're going through.
Yes.
The empathy.
Yes, the empathy.
Is key.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. So what were some things that your husband had done for you? You laugh though. Yeah.
Well, he's just
I think about laundry. Like I remember going for my master's and I had just gotten a new puppy and I threw my laundry down that had to be washed. I'm like, I'm done with this. I just want to throw my And my mom's like, give me.
Yes.
At the time, it was give me your laundry. And my sister so graciously took my puppy to play with him, when he was a little guy.
That's
so,
cute.
I mean, little things like that.
Yeah, it's just the little things like folding clothes. I mean, that's maybe 20 minutes. That's 20 minutes you can. I actually do audio sometimes, too. Like, sometimes I'll read my notes and I'll record it on my phone and I'll play it back.
Yeah.
So sometimes you may not be able to physically read a paper, but if you have it in your earbuds, walking around while you're doing something, you're sweeping, mopping, it's still learning. Yeah. So those little things that, like, I'll say for my husband, he'll help me. He'll read some of my stuff and say, how does it sound to you? Yeah. Like, or, what do you think? Or, just getting his opinion because, like you said, everybody doesn't think the same. So he may say, well, I suggest this, but he said, but this is your paper, but he can give ideas.
Sure.
And that's really what matters to me. Like, he supports me, meaning he says to me, here's an idea. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And I'm like, no, I haven't. Sure. Or he'll say, well, what about this book? Or what about that book? Because, of course, there's other people in the world who've read many other books than we have. And then we have a something paper due. And it's like, okay, I never thought about that book. Yeah. So he helps me in that way. And also my colleagues, I really have to say to them, they are so inspirational to me as well. Yeah. And people like you, of course, meeting different people. I mean, my colleagues, like when they see me, like, you got this. Like I told like some of my colleagues I had a midterm today, like, oh, you got this. Yeah. And I'm like, that, just saying those words, it really means a lot.
Someone believing in you.
Yep.
Yeah. And it sounds like your husband really listens.
Yeah, he does.
He does. Absolutely. So he hears what's going on. He's obviously extremely invested in what you're doing, and he's listening and really wants to help. And that's great.
Does.
No, that's awesome. To have that support system, that's critical in everything.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, laundry dishes is an every single day thing.
You're right.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day. You're eating. Every day. You're wearing clothes.
Every day.
So, I mean, just little things like that. I mean, it gets so incredibly repetitive.
Yeah.
But that is really practical and encouraging to have that support system. And now, thinking of your position and where you are at the Princeton Plasma Physics Laboratory, PPPPL, and I hope I'm saying that, because I'm like, PPPPL. And so there was a partnership that was pretty groundbreaking because we, in terms of evaluating the training for credits, and when that partnership went through, what was it like seeing that, knowing that like your workplace also acknowledged your institution? I mean, you were working there obviously while you were earning your associate degree, and then that partnership came through. Yeah. And was that just kind of like a validation, like I made a good decision?
Yeah. I was like, wow, look. I was like, look at this. I saw it on the website, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like telling people my university is partnered with or my job. I was like, you can't make that happen. And so it was so exciting. And we have a great apprentice manager. She does a wonderful job. She's really dedicated to that program, and I feel like her name is Diana Adele, and she does a great job. And what she does is she really cares about the apprentices. She wants to see you learn and grow. And I love that the apprentices, a lot of them are just they're eager.
Yeah.
I think about that time and that age when you
Just
like a
a
sponge.
sponge. Yeah, absolutely, you're like a sponge. Yeah.
You just was like, what else?
Sure.
And she does a great job inspiring them. And I think every position is fit for everyone. And when that program came out and when that position came out, and she was the person in place for that, I was like, you got the right person.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to see how we grow together, like Thomas Edison and the apprenticeship program. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, I know I made a good decision now.
Awesome. No, I'm glad. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
But no, that's great. I mean, it really is a model for the how higher education and the industry can work together now. And I'm probably bouncing all over the place, but back to being a student trustee. So you are representing students. You are representing the student voice at the highest level of university governance. I mean, they're the ones who make all the decisions, or the ones who say, yes, they can graduate, that kind of thing. And what are some issues or perspectives that you are really passionate about and you're really hoping are going to be addressed or talked about at the board table? Like, how is your own experience kind of playing into being the student trustee?
Well, what I like about Thomas Edison, they always encourage the veterans, which I love that. And that's great. They do a great job. And just to see the veterans wear
it is a very special
regalia,
call out when they have the stoles.
Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
I love that. And I love the cords that's showing that you're a philanthropist. Those are the things that when you see that in the audience, you're like, wow, everybody is dedicating and giving back to the university. So what I see as a student trustee, my thing is I always want to see people come together, like you said, but I said earlier, come together, and not just only come together as a unit to get to know each other, but to see what everybody's aspect of the why they're here, and what we can do to help people out here who don't know about Thomas Edison. I think that's one of my goals, is to be a student trustee, is to let people know. I mean, advertising is good. That's always good. You see billboards and signs, but word of mouth. I have one friend I told about this, and she's registered. She's actually starting in October.
Awesome. That's how a huge amount of our students, it's word of mouth. Absolutely.
And that's really, as a student trustee, I like the fact that they're encouraging people to share with people about Thomas Edison. And the one thing about the student trustee that I'm learning so much is that they want to see people succeed.
Yes.
It's not it's not just saying, okay, well, I graduate. They want to see you keep going.
They do.
For me, I'm going for a bachelor's. I'm I'm going to keep going. I want to go for my master's. I have 5 classes away from my bachelor's. I'm already thinking about my master's. But seeing that as a student trustee at the highest level, it's like, what do I want to see for the students is that I just want to see them grow. Yeah. I don't want them to stop. Don't let anything stop you. I want them to notice that there's scholarships out there. Yes. On the Thomas Edison website, I found it, but I want people, I want it to be blaring almost, they're saying, hey,
I get that. Absolutely.
We have 30 scholarships, right?
There are a variety of scholarships.
There are a variety of
scholarship cycles. Yeah.
Right, and I actually shared with somebody to look at that, and they were like, wow, I didn't know. And not that you wouldn't be able to search for it, because you can find it, but I almost see it could be right on the front page, scholarships, a word, and then somebody could click on that, because that hinders people sometimes. Financially, your job may pay a percentage, but some jobs may not.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what stops people too. So that's one of the things I would like to see, that we promote that more, getting together more, scholarships more, encouraging people, don't stop.
Absolutely.
Don't let money stop. If money is a problem, then let's help you with the money.
Definitely. I mean, there's scholarships. We also have a student relief fund.
Yes.
That students can apply to. I mean, it has covered food for the month. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of things that are out there and opportunities that we offer students. The student relief fund, scholarships. We just had a matching scholarship opportunity from Ron Gimbel, who is on our foundation board for veterans, matching $25,000. So I mean, our board believes in the students.
Yeah, I was at the Impact Awards. It was
absolutely
awesome. Yes.
Absolutely. So I'm glad you got to witness that.
Yes.
You got to see that. I mean, that's in being in communication in the back of my mind that I know that happened. So you got to witness that when they made that initial announcement and everything. And that, absolutely. I mean, that's so powerful. And going back to the priority is earning your degree and making sure we make it happen, whatever the financial ramifications. But that the board is definitely going to be in a positive because of your contributions. They will really benefit from your perspective. So looking ahead to when you do earn your bachelor's in communications, because you are very close, 7 classes, 5 classes, 5 classes. So you're working so quickly. It went from 7 at the beginning of this conversation to 5. And so was there anything specific? I feel like we talked about this, but I don't remember if I asked you specifically. What in communications are you interested in doing? Is there anything specific that you're like, I'm really excited to do this, that I want to get into this?
There's so many things. Like, you see me thinking like, there's so many things I would love to do in communications. I mean, I'm just going to see what opportunity affords me.
Sure.
And sometimes you may have your thoughts on one place and one thing, but then an opportunity may come where you say, okay, no, I can see myself doing that, because it's such a broad area. So for me, I love working with people. It could be events, it could be just getting to know people, just maybe doing interviews, just doing more writing. But I think when the opportunity comes, because like I said, my position right now, I work in facilities and site services, but I do work closely with the communications team there. I do support them in some aspect of the job, and they're great, and they've helped me grow as well, because I have ideas too, and I'm like, what do you think? And I always ask their opinion. They're like, oh, you're good, you got this. But again, these people have experience like yourself, who's been in the industry for years, and I'm still like a newbie to it. But they said, a lot of the people in my organization, a lot of your experience crosses over. You think 20 plus years of administrative experiences, you've interacted with people a lot.
Absolutely.
So you already have like the brunt of it.
Project
just
management side too.
Right. They're saying, so you're just kind of enhancing it.
Absolutely.
So I'm just looking to see what my future holds. I'm hopeful.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
hopeful.
Plus, new fields are happening every day.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first started, social media was not a thing.
Right.
It was called new media.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of that. So it's fascinating how we've kind of dovetailed.
Yeah.
Who knows what could be here in a few years.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I mean, there's still so many opportunities that could be present.
Yeah.
And so I love hearing about all your aspirations.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're really opening to it. And at the end of the day, it's all about your personality and how you can communicate with people and how you make people feel.
Yep.
I mean, that's really the whole point and the crux of communications. So we touched upon this earlier, but what would you say to someone who's considering going back to school, but they feel hesitant, like they can't do it? They're worried about their support system. They've been out of the classroom too long. They're worried about juggling everything. I mean, with work and kids and age and anything, really. Right. What would you say to them where they're like, it's really not for me? I don't think I can do it.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Well, I would say take it from somebody who was not in school for 30 years. And starting over. And of course I had those fears, like, oh my gosh, I haven't been in school in 30 years. What if I don't do a good job? Writing a paper is like, what? APA citation? Wait a minute. So I would tell that person, start one class at a time. Like, I know that may seem like, oh, I'll never finish. But it's a start, just to see how you feel, just to get a feel of it, just to kind of get an idea of what the actual expectations are. Sure. You can always add more later. It's a 12-week courses here, and for a bachelor's degree you need 120 credits, and for associates you need 60. I have shared with people, start with the associates, and I know people say, I want to just go straight for the bachelor's, and I'm like, okay, but if you have 0 credits, it's going to seem like a long time to start. And now, again, that may be your journey, but I don't want you to get discouraged. Sure. So from someone like me who my credits transferred over from my former school, I had 33 credits.
That's fantastic. So you're already halfway towards your associates.
Right. So I was halfway there.
So already you felt, a step ahead.
Yeah. So I would say to that person, seek out what schools you went to, because you may have went to 3 schools in your lifetime, and you may be the same age as me. You're like, wait a minute, I have 60 credits. A
lot of people don't realize
they don't realize how many
credits. They are already a few steps ahead.
Right, and you may just be like, I have 58 credits, and I just need this one course to get my associates, and you can march, and then that'll inspire you, and then that'll encourage you.
It's a snowball. It's
right.
like in finance.
Right.
The snowball method. It works.
Because when I first started my career journey, in my educational journey, I said, I'm just going to go for my associates, and that's it. I'm going to be satisfied. But as I was finishing up, I was like, Amy was like, you're going to go for your bachelor's? I'm like, oh, no. And then my husband was like, yeah, she's going to go for a bachelor's. Yeah. And I did, and now I'm almost like 5 classes away, and people are like, are you going to go for your master's? I'm like, And my husband's like, yeah, she's going to go for a master's.
That's awesome.
So it's like just the start of it. It's like a continued education. It's like a feeling like once you start something, it's like I feel empowered, like, wow, I could really do this.
Yeah.
So I would encourage a person who says, you know what, I don't want to start over. And I'm like, well, first seek out what you want to do. Like, what is it that you like to do that you could enhance yourself to get an education? Sure. Then look into what you've had in the past, credits. Mm-hmm. And then, because most people I've met have credits from
They do, in some capacity.
In some capacity,
absolutely.
right.
Institutions they attend
yes.
workplace learning.
Workplace.
I mean, gosh, there's really a lot of different things.
Right.
You never know.
Right. Yeah. And so just go from there, get together with one of the advisors here at Thomas Edison State University, and they will help you. They will guide you and say, well, this is what you need. And you will be shocked and you will be surprised. Like me, I was like, oh my gosh, I have 33. I can't believe I had 38. And they said, well, we only could take 33. And I'm like, that is.
It has to be applied to the degree, absolutely.
But that's just a
that's
start.
Fantastic. Yeah. We actually have been speaking with someone in our her name is Gillian Wyckoff in enrollment, admissions and enrollment, and she said one thing that people don't realize about coming to open houses, and we'll do a video about tips, bring your resume. Yeah. Because sometimes that influences what degree program you go for and helps you think of what credits potentially may apply or what you may be able to earn with portfolio assessment. I mean, you never know. So I was like, that's a really good tip. You never think of going to an open house with your resume when you're looking for the degree. So it kind of syncs up and lines up with what you were saying. I just thought that was a really good tidbit of information.
That's great.
So, because absolutely, I mean, so many of our students don't realize that they're already ahead in some capacity. Yep. So already you had, half of your associate degree is already earned. So again, snowball method, just, going forward and earning your bachelor's and everything. So we're almost wrapped up here in our conversation. Was there anything that you wish I asked you? Because I'm trying to think, I know this one I threw you for a curveball here because I didn't put this on a list of questions where I was like, I'm going to ask. But sometimes there's things you want to say, and maybe I don't give the opportunity for you to say them. So if there's anything that you kind of wanted to talk about in general.
I just would like to, that's interesting because I didn't think you were going to ask me that, but I just want to, my final statement is I want to encourage people. You asked me actually excellent questions, so you did a great job. You did a great job.
I appreciate that.
But I just, my final thought is I want someone to look at me as an example, as to say, you know what, I remember when I was looking to transition in positions in my company. And I never forget a young lady, she said to me, Pam, you ever thought about going back and getting your degree? And I says, you know what, I'm going to be 60 in about 8 years or whatever I said. And she says, yeah, but you'll be 60 without it.
Yes.
And I was like nobody ever said that to me. Like when I heard her say it, she said, you can be 60 in 8 years with a degree or 60 without a degree. And she's like, but in the end, in 8 years, you'll be 60. Yeah. And I was like, okay. Yeah. I just couldn't get that out of my head. Yeah. Now, many times I thought about going back to school, but I could still envision her saying that to me. And that was the trajectory that
Sometimes you just need the thing that clicks.
And that clicked to me. And then when I told her I got my associate's degree, and she was like, wow, you really, and I said, I want to thank you. Certain people really helped push the needle for me to go forward. Even jobs that I wanted in my career, and some of them I didn't seem to get, but I was like, I'm not blaming the person. I'm just me. I need to grow. If you don't have the qualification and skill for a position, then you take that up with you.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
You have the power to change everything.
You have the power to change everything.
I just watched Cinderella with my daughter last night, and that's what I'm trying to tell her. I'm like, you see what she's telling you, what Winnie is telling you. Yeah, you have besides her amazing voice, which you should listen to, but Winnie is telling you that as a dreamer, you have the power to change it. Absolutely.
And that was for me. And like I said, I even went back to some people. I was like, I thank you for, what you said or what you did, because if it wasn't for you, and my husband was like, I'm so proud of you, you did it, you took heart to what people said, you did it.
Well, Pamela, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today, because your journey deciding to go and pursue your education as a working professional, to being selected as a student trustee, and celebrating you at commencement, and now continuing toward your bachelor's degree, where we will get to celebrate you again in Pamela Part 2, and it's truly inspiring. And your enthusiasm, your dedication, and commitment to lifelong learning absolutely embody everything that Thomas Edison State University stands for.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on with us. And to our listeners, if Pamela's story resonates with you, I encourage you to explore what TSU can offer. Whether you're a working professional looking to complete your degree, someone interested in getting credit for your work experience, or considering our innovative partnerships like the one with PPP Yale. Hope there was enough P's. There's a pathway for you. Thank you for tuning in to the Thomas Edison State University podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. This podcast was recorded and produced on the campus at Thomas Edison State University.
Yay! Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Katie.
This was
Thank you.
fun.
Yes,
This was fun.
thank you.
You made it easy.
Yeah, thank you.